It's me again, Hentai Hodel, and it's time to talk about HuniePop 2. We've talked about the first game in length, we left out a few things like the achievements, but let's not fret about it. It's time to talk about this game, HuniePop 2 Double Date, and before we start talking about the gameplay, I need you to know about its development history. While I'm not going to go over everything in this video, since it's well documented on the internet by the developer himself, I still need you to understand this, and I'm still going to cover most of it. On the 1st of October 2017, HuniePod released a video called Honey Direct, during which he announced that he was working on 2 games, one of which was not an eroge, so we won't talk about it, and the other one was HuniePop 2 Double Date, which was announced alongside 4 girls, 3 of which are from HunieCam Studios, and 1 new girl, with the promise that more non-HunieCam girls are to come, and the first release date of the second half of 2018. The people liked it and were hopeful, even though nothing of the game was shown. When the second half of 2018 came around, they announced a new Honey Direct, which was hosted by our best girl Q. They announced the inclusion of more HunieCam girls, as well as a couple of HuniePop 1 girls, with the reveal of them being Jessie and Lola, as returning characters, and teasing Q's inclusion. Keep that one in mind. Also, the game was delayed until 2019, but still the people did not mind. Some were even willing to wait longer, if that meant they would include more returning girls. The rest of the direct was just a Q&A section.
But wait! There's more!
Holly was announced, and that was something that came with a whole controversy. A character in HuniePop, who was not the main character and had a dick? That was something people were confused about. They called Polly either a trap or trans. I'm not going to double too much into it, but HuniePop showed that he was not aware of weeb culture, since he himself did not really grasp the whole trap concept, which, if I remember correctly, was what he had aimed for. Personally, I think he meant fruiter, but even that was not really true, for the obvious reason that there was no pussy. But even so, the HuniePop fanbase waited for the release of HuniePop 2 in 2019. When 2019 came around, the teaser trailer was released, and the release date was still set on 2019. The people were hyped. How could they not? Just look at it! But the game was not released. The people were still waiting till 2022, when the gameplay trailer finally dropped, showing off some of the girls and how the game would work. Everything was falling into place. The game was about to be released, but no release date was given. Then, February 2021, the game comes out. Everyone bought it, Let's Plays were uploaded, and everyone had one question in mind. Is the game fun? This is what we are answering now. Well, the gameplay is still a match 3 system, but it's a lot more polished and there are more systems in place, providing you with the necessary context of it being a double date. I personally think it's more polished, more balanced. The date gifts could be bought from the store now, instead of just receiving them seemingly at random. The baggage system made the game more difficult, but also allowed you to take more date gifts with per date. And it was not impossible to plan around them. The game was significantly harder than its predecessor, but manageable. It even had a new difficulty called Incel, for those who really wanted the challenge, even though it only changed how much matches you needed until the bar was completed. But all of that came with a price. The dating sim aspect suffered tremendously. It was no longer about getting to know them. They just needed some sort of chemistry between the girls. You would get to the sex a lot faster, which made sense, but the interpersonal aspect, the core of every dating sim, was gone. And that was a crushing blow for the game. This is more about hooking up than it was in the first game. And the CGs, while they look better drawn, are devoid of personality. I said it in HuniePop 1, and I'll say it again. The game at its core is a dating sim, but HuniePop 2 is anything but that. It's a match 3 game with some sexy CGs, and no interesting characters, because they weren't allowed to be their own character. But the game did something else that was new. It had a final boss, during which You had to do 4 dates in a row. It was impossible to plan around these dates. If you Google Nymphogen HuniePop 2, you will see a bunch of people having problems with that fight. Which tells me it was not just that I'm shit and incapable of playing this game, although it certainly did not help that I'm shit at it, but that the fight itself was a big problem for everyone except a few people who claimed that the fight was easy. I did it first try. Yada yada. You know, you get the gist. But what do you get after completing the boss of the game? Certainly it must be something special, like a secret girl, like in HuniePop 1 when you first got laid. You get a QCG of your choice, but it's 1 out of 3 you get, so you're supposed to suffer through that fight, through that Nymphogen date, 2 more times, just for some mediocre CG. I didn't even get to match 3 tokens at any time with Q. I'm insulted! This game has no secret girls. Q is only there for the plot, but not plot relevant. We did end up with 2 new girls and 2 returning girls, while all the rest are from Honeycomb Studio. The game's not been updated since June 2021, and I doubt we'll ever get something else from it. But let's look at the good things. Okay, I will look for them. Give me a second. What about the music? Well, it's kind of forgettable, which is something I didn't think I could say about HuniePop 1's music. But HuniePop 2 kind of made it forgettable. The only track that I remember clearly is the Nymphogen track, which is because I suffered through that fight for over a year until I beat it. It's not something that I think is a good sign if the one final boss track annoys me more than anything. So what about the sex, you might ask? Well, the sex is also... it's HuniePop. Nothing really changes there, right? You match 3 and that's it. Except I kinda had to try in this game. In HuniePop 1 you could sort of absent-mindedly do this. You still had to think a bit and do it fast, but this was... HuniePop 2 is bonkers with that. It's unimaginably difficult. Like, I sat there with my best friend, beating that Nymphogen fight, and he was playing. I just looked at it. It was like, oh god, you finally did it. And he couldn't match fast enough for that bar to be completed. So we switched. And I sat there 5 minutes or so, just trying to get enough points to finally end this game. It feels like work. And that's never a good sign when you play a game and it feels like you're working more than you enjoy yourself. You know what? There's actually something that I can praise about the game without being a backhanded compliment, which is once again the voice acting. It is so good. For a game like this, you wouldn't expect a production value like that in terms of voice acting, but it's once again one of the best things in the game. And yes, you probably know this already, but once again, during the sex scenes, there is a lot of moaning. Maybe, just maybe have headphones on, I don't know. But this is actually the thing about this game. This voice acting is really good. Just listen to it. So even though I said that HuniePop 2 is not a dating sim at its core, I still don't want to talk about the girls in this video at least. So I'll put up a tier list for you once again, and once again a comparison just for the lulz of it, just because I can. Consistency is nice, you know. And so here's my conclusion to HuniePop 2 Double Date. It is a major step down from HuniePop 1, and it has certainly replay value if you like to get all the achievements, but personally I would just play HuniePop 1. Its achievements are much better designed. Like, they give you the same game, yes, but the gameplay is a lot different. with you aiming for an achievement. Pick up Legend is one of the hardest achievements I've ever tried to get, and I'm still working to this day on it. And I'm not annoyed with the game, because every time that I fail, it's because of me, not because of some random ass bullshit. Although you could say the match 3 system in itself is random, but well, in HuniePop 2 there is nothing like that. While you can have this, while you can decide if Polly has a dick or not, she always has a dick. It's just not shown in any CG, but they are clearly drawn in a way where there is supposed to be a second dick in that girl whenever Polly is present. It doesn't make a difference. The only good thing really is the gameplay, as I said, and even then I would prefer HuniePop 1 over 2 any time, any day. So I recommend you just play HuniePop 1, maybe play its spin-off Honeycam Studios if you really want more, but HuniePop 2 doesn't give you anything. All it has are 2 new girls and 2 returning girls, both of which we had been promised more. The rest are Honeycam Studio girls. It is a major disappointment, and I really had wished they would have put more time into it. Like that one person said in one comment under this Honey Direct when the game was first delayed, if we get more returning girls, I'm willing to wait longer. And I really had hoped we would have gotten more new and returning girls instead of just Honeycam girls. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you maybe subscribe, because I'm planning on releasing a lot more videos like this one, but maybe not exactly like this. There are a few games that I'm currently following that are still in development. There are some games that are finished that I'm going to review soon, and I know the big question, the big Rance 3 over the horizon, when is it coming? I had it done, and then my computer died, so it's gone in the ether. I still have the script, but I think I will just rework it a bit and maybe put it in together with Rance 4 when the time comes, since Rance 4 is sort of just an epilogue to Rance 3.